is the BS.
Welcome to another Odyssey check-in. My name's Jason Bailey, and it's always good to talk to the good people in the rock world, especially this guy who I've known for a very, very long time in a band that I absolutely adore, which is Sevendust. And we're going to talk box sets. We're going to talk tours. We're going to talk family life. We're going to talk about everything. But Lajon from Sevendust out on the road as we speak. How's life, my man? I haven't talked to you in a minute.
It's been crazy. It's incredible. Actually, you're catching us on the last two shows. So tonight we'll be in Minneapolis, and the next show will be in Council Bluffs, and we're going home. It's been a month-long tour. It's been incredible out here with Mammoth that started with us in Alter Bridge. And now we have MJT, which is a new band out of Long Island. It's an incredible. The tour has been just a magical experience, not only due to the fact that we're family out here, but I think just because everyone's so excited about being out and being back to some type of normalcy and having these shows. That there's like this electric energy out there right now, man. It's really cool to be a part of.
It's cool to hear you say that. And I remember during, the lockdowns and COVID and those shows, I said, when we get out of this, no one can complain about going to a live concert ever again. I don't care how bad the act was or how bad of a time you might have had. You at least were outside. But for you to still recognize, what a lot of people have forgotten is pretty cool, knowing that you appreciate just being out playing music.
Oh, man, we were going to be the last people to get out back to work anyway in that type of setting, because if anything, you're going to get sick at a concert for sure,
Yeah.
Standing beside some sweaty dude and his girlfriend looking at you talking about, what's up, man? I'm not sick. My nose is just running. High five. Wait a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because the relationship with you guys and the guys in Alter Bridge, it goes way back. You guys have known each other for a gazillion years. Do you ever run out of things to talk about with Mark Tremonti?
No, not at all. It's so funny. It's not at all, man. Because we've been friends for so long. It's just like brothers. It's so funny that you asked that, because last time, a couple of months ago, maybe a month or so ago, we had the release party in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I had my whole family there, which we're family people, and so we made a vacation out of it. We stayed in Orlando, and it was so funny that we went to Mark Tremonti's house to hang out and meet Stella and hang out with the kids and let the kids play. And Tremonti FaceTimed us from Switzerland while we're in his house. It's just, man. It's so, we don't run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. And
it's family.
And everybody knows that the Sevendust originated, your Atlanta guys, but and
do they?
Yeah. Well, hold on, I'm getting to that. So. I lived in both Atlanta and Orlando, but when we met, it was in Orlando, in the rock station. I was there then. It was like, you guys worked at the rock station because we were always doing shows with you. So I think that the people actually associate you being an Orlando band more than an Atlanta band, to be honest with you.
Right. We recorded albums in Atlanta, and then we recorded albums in Orlando. But I think the band had put a little bit more footwork in. Not saying we've done it, weren't big or anything, but I think that maybe the album, we've been signed and stuff, so maybe that made more like, oh, they're from, Florida. I don't know. We're from Atlanta, man. What's up? Rec Room, what Cotton Club, Scrap Bar, all those places all day long, man. Charlie Magruder's King's Head Pub. I remember going in there as a kid and playing like one Friday night, and then not having any money, but being cool enough to go in like every Thursday when they had like the $1 pitcher and like the free buffet. And like, man, didn't you guys like play here like a month ago? We're like, yeah, man, we're cool still, right?
When you were coming up in that Atlanta scene, I don't know, did you guys ever play what is Smith's Old Bar too? Right, that's where a lot of bands that came from Atlanta played. So I've had this conversation, with William Duvall a couple times. William Duvall, for those that don't know, fronts Alice in Chains, but an amazing solo artist. And he comes from actually a punk background from the 80s, and the Atlanta music scene had a really heavy punk scene. There's more to that story, but that's kind of the basis. Then you have that college rock coming from the Georgia scene, not just country. You got the Collective Soul and the REMs of the world.
Sure.
How did you guys fit into that mesh of music coming from that area?
I don't know how we fit in, man. I think we were just out there just doing our thing, and we were just. I don't know if we fit in with those cats. We knew all those guys, man. William Duvall, wow, what an incredible artist, friend. A lot of people don't know this, but I still talk about William to this day about. I'm like, man, you guys know Dion Ferris? They're like, yeah, man, I know what you're doing, baby. I'm like, William wrote that song. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, look it up. It's history. He was Grammy nominated. No, he won a Grammy years before any of us knew anything about even thinking about that. So he was a master of his craft, I think, a long, long time ago. And I'm so proud of the fact that he's fronting Alice in Chains. What a great front man he is, man, and a good person too. So it's really cool to be from that same background. And growing up in Little 5 Points, I used to have a warehouse at the bus stop. I worked at Fellini's Pizza. I got fired from there from Sevendust. But it was really cool to be around that area and hang out at the Point and see all those cats coming in and out, and bands like Big Hate, friends of mine that got signed, to that Flip Records, I believe, the cat that signed Limp Bizkit and them back in the day. Anyway, but it was a good time growing up in Atlanta for me, just being a hungry artist and being a hostess at Fellini's Pizza when there was only 4 tables in there, but they knew I couldn't cook pizza and they knew I was a singer, so they loved it. And he was like, man, you're going to make it, so be a hostess. And I was just stood there at the front door. I was like, here, have a seat right here.
Was that the last gig that you had, Lajon, before you went musician full-time?
Oh, my God, that's a great question. I believe it, yeah, it was Fellini's Pizza in Little 5 Points because we signed a record deal. I was 21 years old. And I was working down there. Wow. Yes, that was crazy. I did a lot of crazy things. I worked for Crew One. I remember building stages for Crew One. And I remember one time, the owner, not the owner, but the boss of Crew One, Sevendust actually got to play. Was it Lakewood? Was it the Lakewood Amphitheater or whatever? And Rob Zombie, they were playing. Maybe it was Zombie, White Zombie. And we opened up for him. And we went over so well, we did a second show that day. I forget, it was a big festival. And I remember the manager of Crew One saying, man, no, don't come back to work again. You guys are going to do something. And I was like, you know what? Wow, this is really cool, but I do need to work.
So the guy he passively fired you because you were too good of a musician.
Well, so he did. He was like, man, don't come back. You're good. You're fine. I was like, no, I need this. Wait, I thought we're doing the Alabama June Jam. I'm working, right?
That's awesome.
You can't make that up. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, sir, you cannot. So you get off the tour here, wrapping it up, Alter Bridge and with Wolfgang with Mammoth WVH, and then you go back out in October with Static X, right?
And Dope, yeah.
Which
we've not performed with for over 24 years. But me and Etzel have been kept in touch and done projects a lot of people don't know about what we've done underneath the ghostwriting stuff. But it's going to be a very cool tour, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited because it's going to see us in a different setting, big production, just all the bells and whistles. So very excited about that run.
And with that, well, you guys released a new album back in July, but you have this box set coming out in October, which I've got a million questions about. So,
yes.
Okay, October. So here's the deal. It's a 9 LP box set coming out on the 13th of October. Then you've got the 7 CD box set coming out on the 27th of October. It is titled 7 of Sevendust, Clever, but it has from 2005, to the best of my understanding, to 2015. None of the early stuff. Am I correct on that?
Yes, you're right. You're actually telling me more about it than I know about it.
Oh, okay. Well, what else do you want to know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I love it. I wish I had that right in front of me. Yeah, that sounds everything you said sounds correct. I know that we're doing this thing. It's we've never done anything like this before. So behind the scenes, of course, we're excited about it to see how it's going to play out. But until you read it the way that you read it, yeah, that makes more sense. It's going to be just like that.
So are you re-releasing this stuff? Like, is it a remastered version? And why would you not put any of the early stuff on there? Just curious as a fan.
I just think that'll be something that's going to happen in the future with what's going on with this. Since it's a new thing, I think it's just a test thing to see how people like it, and what's going to happen with it.
You still a tangible guy, tangible music lover?
All right, so it's weird that you asked that. As we sit here right now, I just left Canada, and downstairs in the dressing room, when I walked down there, this gentleman in all different corners, there was nothing but 1980s different stereo setups, right?
Yeah.
Everything was for sale. I'm like, no way. And I bought me a 1986 boombox.
Nice.
American, very cheap. And then the next day after I bought that piece with the red bandana on it, with the cassette player, recording, dual recording, and all that stuff. Great. Just reminds you of being a kid. He brought in another piece and it had a cassette player, but it also had the TV, the black and white TV set inside of the boombox as well, with the VCR connection to it. And when you say, do I like tangible things? Obviously I do, when I'm sitting here with
Genesis,
all these type of things. So I'm about, and I'm bringing that back to the kids, my kids, they're so on the phone and stuff, and they're excited about daddy bringing that stuff back. The record players just opening up things. I'm so happy that Sevendust has a tape, for True Killer, a tape cassette now, because now I bought all these things with tape cassettes. It's fun and tangible, like you said. I like this box set. That's something that you could look at and feel and see, and not just be on the phone, go back to it. Maybe, might even have to listen to it, but guess what? It's a display in the house that's almost a trophy to you and to some people. So yes, tangible things. I love that. I consider myself a collector of things, and I made up a word. I think we've talked about it before, but I made the word up, mantiquer. And that's what I am.
Yeah, you're a mantiquer. Well, okay, so we got to go back to the boombox because, especially if you're taking it home to the kids, we got to break down the 1986 boombox, because a true boombox, the OG boombox, the speakers did not separate. They were connected. It only had one cassette. You did not have the dual cassette just yet. And most of the new ones, the first ones, were all silver. The black ones came afterwards. So where are we at with this 86 boombox? Because I'm OG that too.
Hold on.
Okay,
Hold on.
he's getting it. Lajon's he's got it on the tour bus. It's back in the vault, back in the master bedroom. Oh, yeah, here it is.
This is great. You cannot make this up.
Okay, there it is. That is old school. Yeah, it's got everything I just said. You can't take the speakers off. One cassette. Yeah.
Not only that, but the record, you have the two mic setups, right?
Uh-huh.
So back in the day, remember we used to record and then listen to our
Yeah. That was my first time I pirated music. 5 years old. Van Halen, 1984.
Oh my goodness. So listen, laughing back here at some of the guys are laughing. I'm like, man, you're crazy to get that. I'm like, listen, man, don't you remember? This is the way that we used to record bands and do everything, like you just said.
Yeah.
The looking at the the gauges and stuff, and man, just trying to figure out what we're doing. I have the mic mix level on this thing. Are you kidding me?
And the coolest thing, when you found out how to make sure no one would record over it by putting the piece of tape on the holes on top, it was like you found out who killed Kennedy. I mean, it was the coolest thing ever, right?
Oh, right. So thank you for understanding that. And of course, your art and what you do, man, you understand all that nostalgia and just that whole coolness about it.
Oh, I remember when I went off to college and my mother bought me, they were kind of new, the Shelf Awa tabletop stereo, and it was like the step up from the boom. I thought I was big time. I was like, I can't wait for the ladies to see this. They're going to think I'm the deal.
So that reminds me, in Canada, the guy had this set up. He couldn't sell it. He said, I have to tune it out and fix it up. But it was a Hibachi CD player, dual cassette, black with the speakers for 500 Canadian. So I could have got it for $2. He's like, I have to fix it, LJ, but I can send you this. But you knew when you saw that piece right there, whoever had that guy, his house was the party house. Yeah. He had it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the idea, going back to the Sevendust box set. I like the tangible stuff. And I think that it's cool that you want to make it a point to pass the love of something tangible, especially when it comes, because music is music, but the tangible part, like there is nothing better, I remember, than the artwork on a vinyl or opening up a jewel case and learning the lyrics of every song. So I was the one that knew the song while singing in the car. I mean, that was a thing.
Absolutely. A friend of mine just recently gifted me a '69 Jimi Hendrix tour book, calendar, and also a poster that I have out here on the road that I'm taking back home, which is beautiful. That's tangible. And for him to keep that for that long and to present it to me, like, I can't wait to get home and to take it to the print, to the shop to get it framed. And I'm going to put it in this beautiful old gold frame, just things like that. Like you said, that's cool. And hopefully someday Sevendust will be, like kids or people our age or younger will be like, oh man, look at this right here. I got this, and my dad kept this, and he got this box set. What about the Dark Side of the Moon box set? I remember having that blinked as a kid, as a teenager. No, I was maybe in my 20s or whatever.
Yeah,
I just moved out, but I just remember always thinking that is the coolest thing ever. That blinks all night long. That's something to think about. We need to do something like that again. Wow.
One of my favorite box sets is the Billy Joel box set from back in the day. Like, it was such great ambience music, just kind of in the background, and it like made you feel classy, right? It made you feel like like you had some cash in your pocket.
Absolutely. What a good idea to bring stuff like that back. I think we tried to do something like that in the Fence video with this new Truth Killer, with bringing back that old, claymation, what do you call it? What's it? Adult Swimish is what I feel like it was like, and it just brings people back, like you said, that word nostalgia, things that, you don't really have anymore, but you can still kind of, when you feel it, and it's like, I remember that.
Right.
Let's not forget that. Let's kind of keep that around,
Hey, do you get that now? I mean, Sevendust is now a heritage band. It's a legacy band. It's one of the staples in the rock/metal world. 14 albums in, and your fan base has been with you for decades. Talk about the nostalgia where people come up to you. What's kind of the reoccurring thing? Lajon, do you remember when you did this? Because I remember this when this happened.
Not only that, man, what a great question, Jay. What a great story to put it together that way. Not only that, stories like that, but now it's that guy that was my age. I just turned 50 last year. So now you imagine this. I have 3 kids. Now this guy that's still my age and maybe older that found out about the band, bringing his kids, and his kids have kids, and maybe those kids have kids, and they're all at the show. And the dad has like an animosity T-shirt on, and it's like, oh my God, you realize that this is a family affair, and how lucky we are to be a part of, I don't want to say a movement, but generations of families that are feeling something from the music that we're, the same things that we're going through, that they're going through, they understand it. So it's a beautiful thing to see, man, and to look out at the crowd and to see these kids out there with the dads and the moms, and it tears me up a lot, because I'm like, man, I wish as a kid I would have had those type of opportunities with my family, but just times are different. You know what I mean? Things are different. Times are different, but it's so cool to see. So what a good question. Yes, it's incredible to look out now as a 50-year-old man and look and see the man that's my age or older and see his kids, his grandkids, and just what a great thing, and to talk to him and hear stories about, well, I got a picture with this kid the other day when he was 3 years old. Now he's taller than me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You know what I'm saying? He's still got a Sevendust shirt on, talking about, I love you guys, and my dad, if it wasn't for my dad or my mom, I wouldn't know about this. So it's a really cool thing to be a part of, Jay.
Yeah, and what people don't realize, I think, or if they don't understand it, is there's every genre of music is kind of compartmentalized into different either generations or times in society. And Sevendust came along at a really cool time. And being in this business for almost 30 years, I can honestly tell you that it was the last strong rock movement as far as radio goes. And, and you guys were a part of that movement. And you backed it up with your live shows. And that was what was great about the bands like Sevendust, you guys, and the bands that you would tour with, is that when you paid for that ticket, you almost wanted to give more money to the venue because you got more than what you paid for.
Oh, wow. Thank you. We always try to work hard, man. That's our thing. It's always been, that's nothing, that's still to this day. When we get on that stage, we put it out there. That's where it's at. That's where you go, and that's what you do, your craft. That's what I feel that's what we're destined for. That was what I was put on this earth to do, besides be a daddy and a great husband and a great father to my kids and just being a good person in this United States of the universe. You know what I'm trying to be? I was trying to nail it all. Like, wait, I just see I'm everywhere. I'm trying to do good. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Lajon. Your kids, I think for the most part, they're at the age where they can get on their iPads and the computers and see Daddy from 20 years ago and music videos that Daddy was in, right? I mean, are we at that age?
Well, that's weird that you asked, because the other day I got tagged from my daughter from a show at the Stone Pony a million years ago, and I forgot about this. And we're in that little bitty inside the Stone Pony in Jersey, which Bruce Springsteen, everybody, I love the spot still.
Yeah.
We play outside now on the big stage. But anyway, there's a video of me. I don't know what I'm hanging from off the top of the stage, and I'm pulling on. I don't know. I look like some little spider monkey. I don't know. My shirt's off. I got like 4 dreads. I'm 21 years old. My daughter said, "What's going on here?" And I just wrote back and said, "I'm sorry, I don't know." and I think she said her friends in her classroom said, "Oh, Jada, didn't you know your dad's Spider-Man?"
See, that's what you didn't realize when you were 21, Lajon, that, 20, 30 years later, your kids are going to now question some of the things that you did back in the day.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so lucky I didn't do too many crazy things, but yes, there's definitely some questions, especially with that type of video.
Yeah, that's funny. On a more serious note, do you think that Sevendust has gotten their due yet? The respect that Sevendust deserved. Do you think that you guys have gotten that yet?
Oh, what a great question that I kind of don't want to answer. I do feel like we've gotten our due. I feel like that definitely this band, I don't even know how to say it. I feel like we've got incredible opportunities in just great situations that we've been in. But I feel like definitely there would have been definitely room for us to be in a different setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know the reason why.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm happy where I'm at. I'm very blessed. I'm so excited about the new signing of the new record deal with Napalm and the light that they put on the work that they put behind the album. And it looks like it seems like, even though we've been at it for such a long time, it's a new beginning for us. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud and ready just to, to continue to work, to write some more music.
Well,
but yeah, we should be bigger. Sorry.
Well, see, so I asked that question because I have an answer for it too. And
thank you.
And my answer is, without a doubt, within the community, there's mad respect for Sevendust. But this has always been the problem with that movement of rock. I include, bands like Shinedown and Saliva and Seether and Soil and Disturbed and Godsmack and all you guys, LP and their Papa Roach. That movement of music in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think should have been accepted in more of the mainstream light than in what it was. Where
absolutely, I get what you're saying. Absolutely, it was more of an underground. I get it. Yeah, just more of a. If you wanted to see that tour, you only had to see that tour at the Ozfest and maybe catch it at the Warped Tour.
Yeah, and there was one in particular situation that I was really irritated about, and I remember telling Brent Smith from Shinedown, of course, about it when I saw it. Was they had done some award shows like the Grammys or something, did some tribute to Leonard Skinner, and they had just released Simple Man, and they didn't ask him to come up and sing. And it was one of the biggest songs in rock radio at the time. I couldn't believe it, and it just showed me that those types of award shows are just so out of touch with what is actually happening,
Absolutely. I get that too. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. You know what? And I'm not bitter about, I think we're fine. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, what if we would have been in those positions where, like a lot of those bands, you don't know where they're at anymore. Just like they had that one song that made them really big for a long time, and then they're gone. They don't have any substance. That's it. What about the rest of the songs? Were they good? We don't know. You only heard that one song on the radio, and you don't know. They could have been even deeper. It could have been 10 different tracks that would have made you want it to be a fan of that band for the rest of your life, but you only liked it because it was one season of being cool and fresh, and then it's gone because it's not in your face anymore. So I feel the hard work that we put behind it has given us that backbone to stick around the way that we have, and to continue to tour and to make a successful living for our families and for the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the only thing you have left to accomplish, Lajon, is to be TikTok famous. I mean, you gotta be one of those.
You know what? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do Snapchat. I only know how to do Instagram. I say 1,000 words says, what is it? A picture says 1,000 words or whatever. And if you don't like me, don't follow my page. I ain't trying to be on Facebook no more, fighting with people and Twitter. Guess what? You know what? All due respect. You know what comes after that? I'm 50 years old. I'm trying to be happy. Go to the lake house after this tour and fish, get on the boats and the sea-doos and hug my kids and kiss my wife and try to hope she'll make love to me. I don't know. I don't know if we're still doing that these days. I was kidding.
Well, you moved out to the country, didn't you?
I'm regular, man. I'm so regular.
You moved out to the country, didn't you? You moved out like far away from everything.
Well, no, I live in Overland Park, Kansas, but about 30 minutes from there, I have a farmhouse in Baldwin, which is right by KU, Kansas, the Lawrence, Kansas, KU. And so we remodeled grandma and grandpa's house. They left it to us, Ashley's grandparents. Joe Ed died at 98.
Wow. He
was an incredible man, and always would ask me if I got a Cadillac yet. And I was like, dang it. No, I got a Ford Falcon that's parked out there, 64, but it wasn't a Cadillac. So my next thing is to put a Cadillac out there in the garage at grandma and grandpa's place. But yeah, so that's it. I'm country boy out there. We got a few cattle out there that we maintain, and it's fun. Actually, Sevendust, we wrote 4 or 5 of the songs from Truth Killer out there at the farmhouse, which was an incredible experience for us.
Yeah, so you did that in the barn, right? Or is that what we're talking about, the farm? Yeah.
Yeah, the farmhouse. Yeah, we went out there. Nobody's out there, and it made us. I feel like it brought us back to being those kids in Atlanta at the rec room or at the house where you had to find a place to jam, and all of a sudden you have Morgan's drum set in grandma's room, Vinny sitting at the edge of the bed, and John sitting at the other edge, and a mic stand, and Clint behind the computer, and us rocking Sevendust songs, and it was just really surreal. And even one night, the sun was going down. It's beautiful, 300 acres out there. And I walked into the front window, and I was letting the flag down in the front. And through the front window, you could see Vinny and John, and they were recording tracks. And just doing this right here through the little farmhouse window. And I'm like, if only anyone knew what was going on in this house right now.
Did you get footage of this, or is this all private?
Oh yeah, it's footage. Yes, footage is film. There's us grilling out every day, man, just having a good time. Ash and the kids would come down occasionally and bring us food, and just a good time. The guys would go jogging. I remember one morning waking up and John was getting ready to go for a jog down the gravel road. Of course, I'm like, be careful, because they're farm dogs. You might get chased by cattle. You never know. He's like, I'll be careful. And I remember him looking out the window. He's like, hey, LJ, I think one of your calves are out of the fence there. I'm like, no, it's a new fence. No way. He's like, okay, whatever. He's like, man, it looks like it's, I don't know if my glasses on, but I think one of your calves is out. What are you talking about, man? So I walk out and I look at him like, no way, there's a calf outside the gate. Me and John Conley are out in the farm. He's got on some kind of Speedo bike or running shorts. I don't know what it was. It made me feel weird because he kept doing like this right here. And I was like, look, stop doing that, because I think you're freaking the calf out. So, think about that. No, just laughing and dying and, finally wrangling the calf in and then going back in and writing a Sevendust song. I just think it brought us, even though we're close, it just brought us back to not being in that type of setting. It's always, that was just it was really cool,
That's one of those moments where you look at each other and you say, today's rock star, we're wearing bike shorts, saving calves, and tired, out of breath, trying to get back to the studio to record this music.
We have a lot of situations like that.
All right, man. Well, look, it's good catching up. I love you, and I love the guys, and I love Sevendust, and I have a lot of great memories with you guys from back in the Orlando days. For those that are listening, Sevendust, just go to sevendust.com. I believe it's also being on Amazon too, but It's the 9 LP box set that's coming out on the 13th of October, and then the 27th of October you'll have the 7 CD box set, and then out on the road with Static X and Dope, which both obviously great bands. And I got stories about Dope, which are hilarious. That dude's like
that's gonna be fun.
Off the chart.
We have to talk. I want to tell you, man. I would love. I can see now. My phone had it was down for a minute. I would love to do the podcast with you whenever you have time.
I appreciate that.
And also, I love seeing pictures of your beautiful family and everything that you do with your family, man. And please invite me to a cookout.
You see my food, don't you?
I know you can cook. I cook too. Let's do this. We've talked about this.
I know.
Invite me. I will be there. If I have to fly to the house and have an RV outside to eat your food, I will do it.
You know you are more than welcome to come over anytime. If you get into the Sacramento area, I'm cooking up some whatever you want. I love to grill. You know that.
I would definitely. I love me some Sacktown. We got a little spot out there in Rancho Cucamonga, so I'll probably see you soon. Don't. I'll keep your word on that.
Oh, you got it. You got it. All right, man. Well, stay safe out there on the road, and best of luck on the tour. Again, love you guys in Sevendust. Lajon, thanks so much for all the time. Everybody, get this box set and go support what we love in rock music, and that is Sevendust. All right, brother.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon, man.
You too, brother. Be safe. I'll see you soon.
All right, see ya.
On 98 Rock.